Okay. Let's see if this is better.
Yeah,
How's that?
perfect.
Okay, I think that's working.
Okay. So again, I want to introduce my interpreter. Actually, she will be interpreting for me and for you as well.
Okay. Yeah, does she appear on the screen or do I just hear her or how does that work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there she is. Okay, yeah, I see her. Hello.
Well, welcome to the Task Share podcast, and I appreciate you with the time and your flexibility and working out the different days with the interpreter as well as for yourself.
No problem. I understand. You gotta
Uh,
make it happen.
yeah, definitely. Especially when I'm flying out tomorrow. So I'm like really busy making sure my family packs, my daughter, my son, and then get up with the all set and then fly out to Hawaii tomorrow morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's get you packed then and on your way.
But I've been looking forward to the vacation already. My sister's getting married down there, so ready vacation. So I've been looking forward to it. Work is done. Need to go on the beach and just worry about nothing.
Amazing.
Yeah. Um, the couple things I want to talk about after I was watching John Silliman episode on Heart of Stars, I could not stop laughing. I was like, okay, I need to walk away for a little bit, And the live on Instagram with Christopher Palaha, I was watching, and my friend was like, you have to watch it. I was like, where is it? She goes, I'll find it for you. So I watched it. I was like, really amazed. So I want to dive into that after we talk about a few things.
Okay.
Is there anything about your new project or movie you could share, or you can't really share about that yet?
Well, I just filmed two movies back to back and possibly starting a third movie in a week and a half, but can't talk about the third one yet because we haven't signed any contracts yet. But the two I have completed are both, I'd say, both romantic comedies. One of them is way more comedy, a lot more physical comedy, emotional comedy, timing. It was a lot of fun. So I actually, I so the last movie. I mean, if they keep the title, man, I don't even know what they would call it because you know how it's always something love, right? There's always love in the title,
Yeah.
and so one of them I think is going to be more of a small town country feel, and then the other one is more of a candy, light and bright and very comedic type movie. So I don't know where they're going yet. I don't know whose movie it's going to be yet, so I can't speak to that. But a lot of the movies I do are called spec movies. So we film them ahead of time and then they go out to Hallmark and Lifetime and Great American Family and Up TV and people they watch them and then they bid on it. And so I don't know who's going to buy these ones yet, but they're both quite fun and unique, I think, in different ways. And
Yeah,
I think
looking
that
forward to that. The which company buys them, and then hopefully go through that. Um, the Love Club dude. I should watch Sydney's Journey. I mean, I had a hard time trying to watch all of it because only the first one, Nicole Penpal, was only available with closed caption or subtitles. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch the next one. Nothing. I
oh
was like,
no.
how am I gonna watch it? How am I, but I'm gonna try to see when it airs on my TV because I watch it on my phone or my iPad. So if it pops up on my TV, I'll be watching. I was like, man, I watch it on my phone with my phone caption. Your character, pretty funny. I mean, there was one part that I was really, I'm like, that is so Jesse Hutch when he's at this moment or kind of thing. The line, the something there about, I mean, 365 days a year? That's how long it takes with like the restaurant. So now Are you involved in any part of the love club doing like with Carrot, Tune, Laundry, where you guys do a couple of cameos in those other movies? How did that go?
Yeah, there was cameos planned, I believe, in the other movies. I did film a few things that they could put in the other movies. I don't know if they'll use them or not. I'm not sure, but I also had some other filming schedules going on at the same time. So they were trying to film all my stuff and get it done. And I think we got it, but I don't know if we ended up getting everything because I had to leave right away for another film when we were filming that. So yes and no.
Okay, I really like the early movie that you had, Snowman from 2017. That movie, I don't know, I feel so warm, so just, I don't know, I can't explain it. So I want to talk about your experience about that movie because I know you mentioned you had a lot of fun with making the film. Like, tell me about it. I mean,
I did. I think Snowmance was a really fun movie to make because it's not every day you get to play a snowman that comes to life. I mean, the only other movie I could think of was Jack Frost, I think.
yeah.
Is that what it was called? And I mean, that was a really emotional, heartfelt movie. So ours, of course, is quite, a lot more light and fun. But to play a snowman, I had to come up with all these rules. So I came up with snowman rules. Like they can hear everything because if you're outside in the winter and you're really still and you listen, you can hear really far, right? So I came up with these rules and I'm like, hey, I'm going to hear everybody, even if I'm not close to them. And then I'll comment and I'll say stuff off camera. And so they use some of that. If you watch the movie, you'll hear me yelling back or commenting. Like it's very subtle, but you'll hear it in the background. Be like, no, I like that. Or no, it's fine. Things like that I tried to bring to the movie. I made up the rule that he never eats because he's a snowman, really. But I don't want people to feel uncomfortable. So I will act as though I'm going to eat, but then I always find a reason to talk. So if you watch the movie, you'll see that I'm carrying food or I always have food, but I'll always find a way to talk my way out of it. So nobody notices that I never eat. Of course, some of the obvious things are I never wear a jacket. That was a choice early on, which was at times very tough because it was minus 26, minus 30 degrees. And it was actually really cold. And so I did get a little bit of frostbite on my ears and on my fingers, and they still hurt to this day. But, that scene when I jump and I'm digging the snow with my hands, I just went for it. So I said, hey, roll the cameras and, hopefully I only have to do this one time and we'll go for it. But I tried to come up with all these fun rules that would be interesting for people to watch.
For sure, like that part where you were sitting with the co-star with the front of the fire and you were eating soup or something with the cat. That was like hot and ready, like you don't know what to do. I was like thinking, I'm like, what is he gonna do? And he's gonna like run out, or is he gonna be like what? So I thought that part of the movie was just like, okay, he knows he's actually a snowman and it's sitting next to a fire. How long is he gonna last?
Yeah, it was fun, especially the carrot. I hold the carrot up and I'm like, oh my goodness, like people eat snowmen's noses. That's not appropriate. That's not right.
Tell me about all of these other different moons. I mean, you have done Snowman, Let It Snow with Cadence, and Christmas in Toyland. And I really want to know a little bit more about your experience about Heartland. I know you got there a few episodes from one season to another season about cancer who struggled with an injury from a wheelchair. So I was like, I started watching Hurt and I'm seeing all these people popping. I'm like, oh, he's in here. Okay, I'm definitely watching. I'm like, okay, he's in it too. Okay, I'm definitely Kevin McGee. I mean, and Cindy Busby. But it was a really overall amazing show, and I was really sad at the end. I remember I was like, why did he have to die? I want them to have more babies. Why did he have to die? You know, I
Uh,
really liked the location of it since it was in Canada, right?
yeah, they film in Calgary, Alberta. They actually are still filming. That show is still going. So Ty, right, Graham
Okay.
Wardle, he's still a really good friend of mine, and he's a great guy. And working on that show actually was still one of my most memorable parts because uh, it was such a challenge, and I wanted to honor the people that I was representing. Right, like anyone who lives a lifestyle in a wheelchair, it's so it's so, oh my goodness, there's so many challenges, and I ended up getting to meet the gold medalist in para dressage, and I sat and interviewed her for a while, and we hung out and we talked about what kind of injury my character would have. And I actually, before production began, I met with a gentleman named Jonathan Field, who still to this day is a really well-known horse trainer, and he's amazing with horses. And I went and I talked to him, and he actually helped me. And so I would ride on a horse saddle with a basketball underneath me, and that's how I would learn how to not use my legs and how it would feel to have just upper body
Wow.
only. And so I did that for a while with him. I went out for a couple sessions, and he worked with me. And then I went to Calgary. And when I got to Calgary, I asked for the wheelchair that I would be using because I wanted to get used to it and accustomed. And but I didn't want to offend anybody. But I would go out and like grocery shop and get my food and like go around Calgary from my hotel to see if I could go and eat dinner, and I wouldn't get out of it because I didn't want anybody to think I was trying to make fun of anybody. I wasn't. I was trying to learn, how do people treat you? What's it like? What are the challenges? What are the victories? You know what I mean? Because again, when you're an actor, you want to honor the people you're playing, whether that's a police officer or a doctor or a stay-at-home dad or whatever it is. I would hope that I can learn as much as I can and then do a good job. Now, keeping that in mind, sometimes production moves so fast that you don't have time to go and really dig into this stuff. And so you hope that when you do it and it comes across on screen, people aren't sitting there going, "Oh, this actor sucks. He offends me. You know, he did a poor job." Uh, you would hope to have people watch it and go, "Oh, I think this person maybe tried to put themselves in my shoes a little bit." And so with that role, oh my, it was very interesting because yeah, I would go around in the wheelchair and I just people would treat me differently. They'd look at me differently. Some were really overjoyous and way too happy, and then some were like didn't want to look at me, and so it really gave me a perspective for a time, that I was able to hopefully build more of a perspective of life like that, and hopefully bring that to the screen. But yeah, to be able to like ride horses, I had to drive a vehicle that didn't have foot pedals. It was all hand.
Mm.
That was really cool, and it was totally different, right? Your brain is wired, and you're so used to doing things one way that you're like, oh yeah, I can't use my legs. Okay, this is gas, this is brake. You steer, you got to slow down, you got to speed up, and I'm like, and it was an actual truck of a gentleman who is a cowboy and who was paralyzed from the waist down. So I drove his truck and his trailer, and they showed me how to put the wheelchair together, and I did it in the scene a little bit. But I really enjoyed playing that character. I mean, it really causes you to kind of look at your heart more, right? Because you don't have
Mhm.
access to everything you normally do. I can't just get up and walk and do whatever I normally would. I have to think about a completely different lifestyle. And for me as a person, that was really intriguing because I think it's important to do your best to understand others. And I know that it's not the same. I mean, I'm not going to fully understand somebody's life, but you want to try. And I think it allows, hopefully, for a heart that's softened, a heart that has grace, a heart that also can treat everybody with respect and honor, so that you don't treat people differently. Because, to
Yeah.
be honest, some of the greatest people I've ever met on earth are ones that maybe are lacking in other physical areas, right? But they're like the most amazing people, and in some ways they're even better than most of the other people who have everything going for them. You know what I mean? So it's not an indicator of of who you are. You know, have friends from different walks of life and different kind of tragedies, or maybe they were born with something, or maybe they were in an accident, and that should never stop people from being people with each other. So that was a role that really honored that, and it's not every day you get to do something like that. I mean, I've never done anything like that really ever again since. I was on a series called American Dreams for NBC in the early 2000s. And so I actually worked with Vanessa Lenges, who you do know from Christmas in Toyland. So her and I worked together on that show 18 years ago, 19. And my character in that actually did go off to the Vietnam War. And I did end up coming back paralyzed. So I actually did do a little bit of wheelchair work in that. And then fast forward, and I was in Heartland. So it's kind of happened twice, but Heartland was way more involved. And then, funny story with the Vanessa Lenges. So I just worked with her again. So Vanessa and I just did another movie together. So we'll see who ends up purchasing that one. But that is the one, like, I think it'll be called Candyland or something like that. I don't know what title they'll use, but her and I worked really hard to make sure that it was funny and comedic, and we kind of had like a lot of physical dances, like, hey, come over here, what are you talking? We can't do that. What are you talking? No, yeah, just hold on. You know, a lot of involvement.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Like the part in the Christmas in Toyland when you were sitting in, I think the back room, and she was coming in trying to work with that. He just looked at him and he tried to chill, but that was just like, really? But I thought that movie was very, different, light, and a little bit of comedy here and there. So, yeah. So, out of all these movies, which movies did you feel like what fits you, like who you are, like which character or which movie do you feel like you really connecting on this is me in the movie, this is how I am. Any movie you work with or TV show did.
Oh, I mean, I think what's fun is there's a little aspect of me that always comes out in every, right? I'll have family or friends watch it and they'll go, you just acted like yourself. And I'm like, and I take that as a compliment, because I think it's actually quite difficult to just be yourself, especially when none of the words are my own. Because essentially our job is to take someone else's heart, take someone else's feelings, take someone else's mindset and make it our own, and then work it on the inside and then bring it back out to you and have it hopefully come across natural, right? And audiences are smart. I mean, you guys have seen movies and you've seen actors and actresses where you're like, I don't know, I just didn't believe what they just said right now. And that's not for me to judge or figure out, but there's just some stuff you watch where you're like, wow, I'm really in this story. I'm invested. It sucked me in, and I would hope to be an actor that no matter what the genre is, whether I'm doing drama or action or comedy or romantic comedy, that hopefully I do a good enough job that anyone who watches it is just sucked in, even people who know me, right? If I can do a job that people who know me go, wow, I forgot I was watching you, that's also a very kind type of feedback that you would aim for as an actor. So I've been doing a lot of writing and developing, and I have a Christmas comedy script that I've written, and I think I'm getting pretty close to putting it into production, where I did write it so that I would play the lead character, and we're getting closer, I think, to making it. So I think this will be one of those movies where it will be like, okay, here's some comedy that is kind of me. You know what I mean? This is how I think. This is the comedy I love, and we'll see how it goes and how it continues to unfold as we move towards production. But every role, I definitely try to bring some comedy. There's certain roles I've done where there's just no room for sort of comedy, but I always try to find a little piece of something, because even in the heaviest drama, there's a place for a little bit of comedy.
Yeah. Who is there anybody that you want to work with in a movie or show that you have not yet worked with?
Oh, I mean, there's so many good actors and actors and actresses that I mean, I'd love to work with so many different people. The list probably is a lot bigger than I imagine because I'll watch something and I go, man, that person's really good. It'd be great to work with them. And it could be somebody that I don't really even know, right? Like, I'd love to work with. It'd be amazing to do like a movie with Tom Cruise or something one day, just to do some action and get in there. You know what I mean? Like a Mission Impossible. Ryan Reynolds, Mark Wahlberg, Denzel Washington, Julia Roberts, Nicole Kidman would be interesting to work with. I think it'd be fun to. Oh my goodness, there's like just so many different people that I think you want to. Neil McDonough is actually a really cool actor. I've worked on a series with him, but we didn't have any scenes together. It'd be fun to work with him. I mean, I'm sure the list could go on and on and on. There's so many directors, and like Guy Ritchie is kind of one of my favorite directors. That'd be cool to work with Guy Ritchie. I'd be like, yeah, you know.
Okay. I have a couple of questions. One question in from Darla, more of like a joke or whatever. She was like, have you ever had a chance to compare to the Tennessee Board football team that you moved to Tennessee? Just kidding.
Have I ever had a chance to what?
Tennessee Board, the college football team. She wanted to know if you compare to be their band like that you live in Tennessee. So like a little joke that she wanted me to say. But she wanted to know
Yeah.
if you team or with your own team.
No, I'm still getting used to watching more of the local sports. So it's been fun. I haven't gotten out to any games, but I'd like to. We actually have two semi-pro soccer players staying with us right now, and they're playing for Tennessee. And so we've been out to a couple of the games recently, actually.
Nice. What's your favorite sport? Out of all the sports, what's your favorite sport?
To play or to watch?
Both. Play or watch.
Ooh, I mean, I grew up playing baseball, so I like playing ball. I played rugby growing up, so that's fun. To watch, I actually don't mind watching hockey or soccer or baseball, but I kind of just have to be around people and get into it. I got three young kids, and to be honest, I don't like set aside time for a lot of sports. It's not because I don't know. Your interests change, right, as you get older, and I'm like, ah. But when it gets down to like the tournaments, then I'm kind of like, okay, what's going on?
But yeah. For me, I'm a huge football fan. So like when the football season starts, my daughter, me and my son was cheering for our team. My daughter like, oh, Mom, it's a game. I don't want to hear the word. It's just the game during the football season until my season's over. So
Yeah.
I'm a huge football fan. Sometimes I do basketball. I watch a little bit of baseball, but not so much. But mainly football, and they're tough.
Yeah. Who's your team?
Green Bay Packers.
Oh.
Yeah, I was born in Green Bay, so obviously. And then my husband's a Buffalo Bills fan, so it's like the last 2 or 3 seasons we're like up there with the playoffs. So I'm like, I'm ahead, he's right here, and then we joke that he's ahead, and they joke. I'm like, who are we gonna cheer for? I'm not watching the Super Bowl because none of our teams are in it.
That's amazing. That's good. You guys can still be friends.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be like we went to a Buffalo Bills game in Green Bay. I can't remember how long ago. I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago. We had a lot of fun. I gave kudos to my husband because his team did not score any point. It was 23-0. So, yeah, so I was like, I do okay. He goes, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, okay, go Packers. He goes, yeah, come on, let's go find the car. Oh, yeah, that's the thing we do. I try to like, go to games, Green Bay Packer games, and here, and then if we go to New York, but then it's family, we try to maybe do one game if we can, but we can't make that happen yet. Um, so tell me about your experience with Jennifer Silliman working on the episode on Heart of Dark. I mean, you had a lot of fun doing that. I mean, working out, talk out like in practice with the back jump. I mean, I used to do CrossFit, so I'm trying to get back into CrossFit.
Oh, good, good. I love being an advocate for people's health. I think it's so important, and it affects so much of your life that I think it's worth looking into. So, from diet to sleeping patterns, to types of working out, environment, your water supply. I mean, all that stuff. The more you look into it, the deeper you're going to go. But you got to start somewhere. So, or else it's too overwhelming. So just one day at a time. And yeah, we had a blast. I mean, that was amazing. I spoke to the manager at my gym, and he was like, "Yeah, you guys can film here," you know. And I was like, "Amazing." So we had the best time, because I mean, that's when I'm not on set, I'm working out a lot. So I love to train, and that was the first time I've ever really done an interview where someone just kind of hung out and we walked around and did it. They were super cool and easygoing, and I had an absolute blast with the whole team.
For sure, yeah. I was watching, I was just like, and queen that she gave you, I'm like watching, I was just like, oh my God, what kind of answers are these? I mean, it's like, I was like, okay, Todd, and my son are really gone. I gotta go. I just need to, breathe. I'll come back. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch it. So I told John, I was like, okay, he's gonna come on my podcast or any tips or whatever. She goes, go to the bathroom. Like you just told me when you watch my TV show. Just go to the bathroom and just, let Justy be Justy. I'm like, okay, got that. But she's a wonderful person. I mean, I hung out with her a little bit. I watched Palm Beach Romadrama and as well as the Chicago Romadrama Christmas. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, she's really easy to talk with, and she had some great questions. My kids are banging on the door. my
my
kids
kids are
keep
over
banging.
there. My kids are in another room. I'm like, 1 hour. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there any movie or book? It does not matter how many times you read it, 1,050, whatever. What movie would it be, and what book would it be?
Just to share that I like.
Yeah.
I like there's a book by Malcolm Gladwell. Um, I've read it a couple times actually. I haven't read it recently. Why am I? Oh, The Outlier. That's actually one of my favorite books. I really enjoyed that. Um, I read the Bible all the time. That's probably one of my main sources for any material in life, whatever I'm going through. That's kind of a core value and a basis for me, no matter what I'm getting into, whether it's family, business, marriage, friendship, community, money, you name it. I go to scripture for pretty much all of my kind of core values, and that's what I try to develop everything from anyway. That's a very challenging book, of course, and so I'm always growing and trying to understand. And then as far as movies, I think, man, there's so many good projects that I'm behind the times. I've been watching The Last Kingdom on Netflix, and it's about the Saxons and the English, and just trying to create England, and the Danes, and just these different cultures and different religions and different belief systems when it comes to battle and marriage and money. And I'm finding it very interesting, actually, and it's been pretty fun. I love the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I actually like the books as well. I read all the books when I was a kid, and so when the movies came out, I was like, "What?" It was like the best thing ever. uh, I love the movie Gladiator, Braveheart. I could watch those over and over and over again. I really like the Mission Impossible series. My kids are pumped because we've watched them all together, and we're waiting for the new one to come out. And It looks so much fun. And so I like that those are like kind of action adventure stories, but then there's not like an overwhelming amount of, sex or gratuitous language and stuff. My kids can watch it and enjoy it with me. There's still some danger and fights and things like that, but at least it's somewhat tasteful, if I can use that. Whereas other movies, I like some of these other movies, but my kids are just still too young for me to kind of go there yet. But maybe one day as they get older.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Saving Private Ryan is probably one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I like Saving Private Ryan, and there was another one. Okay. The Hack and the Range. That was a really good movie. I was watching. I was like, my husband was like the truck man to watch. I was like, what's that? I mean, they should know you did. And then when they come to the range, but then I was just like, wow. So Saving Private Ryan, they're a good movie too. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So my son and I will have a Star Wars marathon. We will watch it from the first movie to the last movie in order. And like the new movies with Kylo Ren and Rey, I'm just watch out that no. I don't like Highlander. Not supposed to happen. Or when Han died, which is like really good. I really like the end. I like the new Disney Plus TV show series with the Mandalorian. It was open one of the characters. They was really interesting at first. I was like, they're making it to a TV show, but really good because you can get the backstory of Princess Leia, Luke, as well as Boba Fett. Because I was so confused watching the Mandalorian. I'm like, Boba Fett a bad person or a good person? Because with the Star Wars movie, like Han is like Boba Fett and he bows down. I was like, so I'm assuming he's a bad person. But it's really nice to have like some sort of backstory with the series of movies like The Lord of the Rings. I'm watching the TV series on Disney, The Rings of Power. I'm slowly watching that. So it's really interesting how they like do the backstory, the history before it actually became the story.
Yeah, I'm still. I mean, on that note, as far as a filmmaking perspective or storytelling, I'm curious because there's a lot of these big budget shows coming out now, right? Like the Rings of Power. You had The Last of Us. Massive budgets, like massive. I mean, isn't it something like the three Lord of the Rings movies were all done by Peter Jackson for like what 260 million or something? I mean, I'm ballparking. And then the Rings of Power series was like 800 million for what, 6 episodes, or was it 8? And I'm going, I just feel like there's not as much focus on story anymore. Like the heart, you want to care about these people. And again, that's just my perspective, and it's art, and everybody has the right to make art, and it's tough to judge art, right? But I feel like sometimes I go back and I watch these movies from the 90s, right? Like as an example, almost any movie from the 90s. Like look up the top 100 movies from the 90s and it will blow your mind. Like, but think about our movies now. Try to think even in the last 5 years, like what movies stuck out and what like really hit you and what had an impact on you. And not every movie has to be this crazy impact. I mean, you can have amazing action movies where you're just like, they just fought and blew stuff up. It was amazing. That's fine. But even that, it's like so many of our movies now, I feel like it's like big budget, low story, but really make sure that they look good and they dress good and we have good special effects. But I mean, if you don't have heart, for me anyway, I'm like, well, I don't care if the special effects are great then, because I want to care that this person's like, what are they going through? What are they experiencing? Now, I mean, if you asked me to work on any of those, I probably would have done it. But like I said, it helps me learn because I go, okay, what is it about these new projects with all this money what's working, what's not working? What can we improve on as filmmakers and storytellers? Because I think working in this industry is, it's kind of like a modern day campfire. We have an opportunity to share stories with people, and not all stories are good. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I've been in movies where I'm like, that was okay. you know. But some movies you see and you're like, wow, it just really impacted me, you know. And maybe it was emotional, maybe it was really funny. I mean, I saw Free Guy. I thought that was super well done. It was a
Yeah.
great kind of love story. It was hilarious. I laughed, you know, I almost cried. It was like I went through all these emotions, and it was a really fun movie. And now, yes, that one had massive amount of special effects, and they did a great job on it. But it had heart. It had really good character heart. You know, like you cared about all the people involved. So I don't know. I think that anyway. That's my 2 cents, and you
Yeah.
know
I
it.
gotta watch Free Guy. I thought it in. Then I don't know, but me, I think, So I thought and I watched different movies, but I really liked the movie where was the Adam Project with
Oh yeah, yeah.
it was Ryan was just spectacular and hilarious to that movie. It was really good. I was like, okay. But there was one movie that I just don't understand. I mean, I think I had to force myself sit and watch it, not just do anything. Anything, no. It's called, what was that? Deadpool? I mean, I don't
Yeah,
understand the big about that movie. I mean, people think it's funny. I'm not watching it. Okay.
yeah.
What's so funny about it?
I mean,
It's the way it is, Robert. I might just have to watch it again, but if
yeah,
I'm a huge Marvel fan, DC comic fan, I will watch all of it
hmm
because my son
hmm
is into Batman, Superman, Iron
yeah,
Man, all of
yeah.
them. So I
Well,
watch all of that with my son.
I mean, the first Iron Man was definitely, I think, one of the best Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I just watched the new Guardians of the Galaxy. That was actually a blast. I had fun, and I was able to work on a series called Batwoman, and I played a DC comic villain, and he's in the comic books. His character is called Menace, and so I actually got to play that role, which was pretty fun for me. I actually really enjoy playing villains.
Nice, nice.
And so basically, Bane's venom was put into me, and they tried to recreate Bane in a sense. And so my character storyline started to go there, and then they ended up taking the series in a different direction, and then it got canceled. But it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that, and it was cool to like be in Gotham City, and to be around that and the way they light it, and to be this amazing set and these lights and cool and like smoke coming out of the ground, and then they're like, okay, here's your mark, and I was like, I get to stand here and work. I was like, this is amazing. It was just the coolest.
That's awesome, yeah. But some movies, like with the Disney movies on growing up in the 70, no, not 70, maybe 70, 80, 90 cartoon, and now they're all into reality. So some reality Disney movies are good, but some of them are like, why would they do that? I mean, to
Mhm.
destroy the picture of the Disney movie when I was growing up. There was one movie that I did not really like, but my favorite one, the one with the reality, I think it was Beauty and the Beast with Emma Watson. I thought that movie was beautiful. I mean, the Downey back and how they did it, and it was really got it
Mhm.
out. And my daughter like Pete. I wasn't really impressed with Pete Dragon.
Oh,
The reality one, but I
mhm.
grew up growing up watching
Yeah, yeah,
that one. That was like totally one of my favorite.
yeah. I still like the original Aladdin, Robin Williams. It's so good. I still quote it.
Yeah. Okay. We have 15 minutes, and I kind of like want to wrap it up about exploration stories. I mean, after watching your live with Christopher Palaha about your whitewater rafting experience, that took me back about 7 years ago. Well, 7 years ago tomorrow, that I remember the anniversary date of the car accident. But watching you and listening to you saying like how much like you were trying to get a hold of your life and under the water for what, I don't know, 10, 11 minutes. And I know you were amazed, like how you were there functioning and everything. But after all the
Mhm.
traumatic experience that you have to do some kind of, I don't know, therapy or some kind of like rehab to regain your strength and to become you again. I mean, it was a really powerful story. I will share a little bit of my story with my son after you share, like, and then that what helped me renew my faith and believing in God and trust in Him because He has
Yeah,
a plan for each one of us, whether we like it or we don't.
yeah, that's right. I was actually just doing a little bit of studying on Job this morning, and that's what it was about, right? At some point, Job lost everything, and then Satan. If you
Both
take his help,
second.
if
Okay.
you, oh, you still good?
Yeah.
That did it freeze?
Now it on, but it seemed to be okay.
Okay. Do I have to
Okay.
repeat anything? Did it get cut off?
No, you're good.
Okay. So yeah, and then so Satan goes to God and he says, "Well, Job is only still praising your name because it's just stuff, you know. Anybody could deal with that, right?" And God was like, "Okay, we'll go after his health, but don't kill him." And so he goes and he totally strips him of his health, and he still praises the name of God. And so there's a challenge in that, right? Where we're like, wow, sometimes life throws something at you and it's not good. It doesn't appear good. It's hard. It totally rips your heart out. And I mean, we have had several friends who've lost babies or children, and and you think, how hard must that be? It's like unbearable. How do you go on? How do you continue with life? And yet these people praise God, and they find this just insane peace in it. Now, some people will say, well, that's why you believe in God, because it's a crutch. But I don't know, a crutch is only good for holding you up for so long, because eventually you'll reach an emotional breakdown, you'll reach a physical breakdown, you'll reach a spiritual breakdown. Life will have a way of completely crushing you to the point where, I mean, I've lived in positions where I go, you know what, my faith is real. This isn't fake. What I felt and what I've lived through, you can't take that away from me. And you can make fun of it if you want, or you can not believe it, or you can call it whatever you will. But I know it's a fact, and I I just can't deny it. And if I did, it would be foolish. So yeah, I mean, definitely that was a big uh, point in my life to live through something like that, where you have so much fear and yet so much peace at the same within the same sort of 10 minutes of your life. Now they estimate I was underwater from 10 to 22 minutes, which even on the low end, 10 minutes without oxygen underwater is already beyond the capacity for, brain damage and everything else that should have come with it. So it is a complete miracle. And I can't ignore that. I can't just be like, oh, no big deal. That really helped me go, what is a miracle? Like, what is it? You know, I've kind of learned, and I'm a firm believer that you should always take the ramp of reason until you take the leap of faith. So go ahead, do all your knowledge work, do your head work, read your books, think about it, but pursue it honestly. And eventually you will come to a point where you're going to run out of knowledge and you have to have faith. I mean, for example, people walk into a room every day and they see a chair that they've never seen in their life and they go sit on it. They have faith that it's going to hold them up. Now, that's a very small version of faith, but it's a very small place to start. And I think all faith starts at a very small place. And it's up to us to decide if we want to explore it further. Now, we can ignore it, we can run from it. A lot of people have been hurt by it. And sometimes I have to start a conversation by apologizing for something that I didn't do, but I have to say, look, I'm sorry you went through that. I'm sorry that the church hurt you. You know what I mean? There's a lot of versions of what the church is nowadays. Now, the church is the ecclesia. It means the called out people. We're supposed to be the church. I'm supposed to be the church. I'm called to help people. Like, I'm responsible for that. What am I going to do with my life? And we all come to a place in our life where someone else could be to blame. Someone else caused the hurt. And you know what? There are hurts that have been caused by other people, and you can't ignore that either. And you shouldn't come up with excuses. But at the end of the day, I'm the only one who can decide for me. I'm the only one who can answer for, I totally could be crusty and angry and just hold tension in my heart for years because I'm mad at somebody. But it's not worth it. I've learned that forgiveness is one of the biggest things you can do. Forgiveness to yourself, forgiveness to others. But how do you learn forgiveness, right? You would hope that you'd learn it from maybe your parents, maybe your community, maybe your kids. But for me, God teaches me forgiveness. I've learned that I've been forgiven for things I've done. And I'm like, I have to extend that same forgiveness, extend that same grace to other people. And so, yeah, when you have a near-death experience, it teaches you a lot. It has the opportunity to teach you a lot. And you also don't need that experience to learn a lot as well. I mean, people learn this every day. If you're a parent, you're going to be under stress. If you're married, you're going to be under stress. If you're single, you're going to be under stress. If you're trying to get a job, if you're trying to live at all, if you're alive, you're going to feel pressure and you're going to feel stress at some point in your life. And so you have the opportunity in that moment to grow. And so I say take all the opportunities you can to grow. And why not? What's the alternative, right? Nothing, as far as I can tell. And that sounds boring to me.
Yeah, but I mean, I was watching, like, I was trying to, like, imagine. I mean, when you were telling the story, the only movie that really popped in my mind, and it was based on a true story. I can't remember the name of it. It was called Breakthrough, where a hockey kid or basketball kid or something was playing on the ice or with his friend,
yeah.
and he got
Yeah.
stuck in the water. So when you were talking about your stuff and how you got stuck in the water because of the current, and you're like going away because I think you were bound about like maybe 20 kilometers away from where it happened or something. And I'm thinking about the movie and I'm thinking about you. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, okay, I need to step back for a minute and just think about it. Because, the day that my family got involved in a car crash, myself and my husband and my daughter were fine. We had a crash. I had bruises all over my legs and my knees. My son, he was the worst ever. Because of the way the car was hit, we were damaged in between two cars. So he got hit the worst ever. He probably hit his head in front of my husband's teeth, the passenger teeth, banged his head on right there and broke his skull, multi fractured across the skull and a brain bleed. So he was in and out, but he was just waking up and the man was going on trying to get out of the car, saying that do not move. But the ambulance coming and helping out that make sure he's breathing. He's breathing, he's fine. But like in and out, in and out. So I took my daughter out of the car, told my husband to go over there because he was like ready to lunge the person behind us and the person in front of us. But after that day, I was going through a million things in my mind. I'm like, if he could have died, if he could have died, I don't know what to do without him. I can't imagine my life without my son. I'm sure your wife couldn't imagine your life without you with the Whitewater rafting. And I started picking up a Bible. I called my friend over. I need help. I can't just think and do nothing. I do believe in God, but not like this. I need something. So she brought me a Bible. We start reading and we start talking about birthdays and script. And I did the first 5 or 7 days were hard because the first 3 days he was improving, he was getting better. Then between day 5 and 7, the pressure was getting more and more in the drain. So and there was like the difference. We have a surgery, another drilling to relieve the pressure, or I don't want to put another hole in my son's head. He's 4. He was 4 that time. So and surprised me, nothing else in his body was broken. Nothing was broken and everything. So and he was in coma for about 5 weeks before waking up. So and my daughter did not see her brother for 5 weeks because my husband and I were worried about the appearance. So after that, I was talking. I was going to church. I would talk to my friends with Bible studies. I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave it up to him, and he's gotta bring him back. I mean, and then after about a week, things started to look up. The pressure was going down. He did not need any surgery. He did not need any plastic surgery for his face. So, but then it was a long road of recovery, or occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy. He was like a baby again. So going all of that stuff. But now I'm happy because he's graduating from 5th grade, going on to middle school. He did taekwondo. He takes horse lessons. And he was just, I should like, you're my hero. And he thought, no, Batman is my hero, Superman, my hero, Iron Man. I was like, nah, whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, after watching it, listening to things, I'm thinking, all these people, and like, sometimes people are like, I can't do this. I'm like, dude. I mean, look at Bethany Hamilton. She got her arm off by a shark, and now she's out there surfing again. Do not tell me you can't do it. You're like, okay. And now he's going to camp this summer. So I'm a little nervous about that. I can use 1 week without him. And 1 week without my daughter. I just be alone. But though, I'm not a lot of things we could do, and there's something, there's challenging for all of us, the family. But after that, it made us all of us stronger, made me stronger, and I'm a huge advocate for both of my kids and as well for my students because I'm the teacher of the deaf and the holy being working at high school. So after that, I should fight for the kids. If they don't have it, I'm gonna fight for it, you know. So I just wanted to say that brought my faith again to God, and I'm happy my son's here now with that 7 years tomorrow. And of course, we had a couple of lawsuits with the people in front of us and the car company too, because apparently my husband's seat was no good; it was broken. To begin with, that's why the seat went out of control. So we got rocked everything all of that up last year. Now we're able to move on, and I know he will be covered and stuff for life if something happened to one of us. Who knows?
Yeah. Whew. That's it. Thanks for sharing. It's a good story. But and I think that's what stories are for. They should be shared, right? Not kept hidden or kept secret. And I think challenges that we overcome should be shared. Victories that we have should be shared, right? And I mean, that's what I learned from scripture. I have a men's group that I'm a part of, and that's what we're advocates for. We're advocates for prayer, for support, and for also praise reports, right? Just like it's important that we share in victories, and it's important we share, right, in the valleys. And I think that's what helps a community grow. That's what helps people build. That's what helps all of us, right? I mean, social media can be good for that. It can help to spread good word. I mean, it helps spread a lot of junky word too, but you got to find a way in between everything.
Yeah.
Who's there? Almost, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So are you gonna be going to, before we wrap it up, you're gonna be going to Kansas City Christmas time?
No, I don't think I'm on the roster.
No? Okay.
Tried to get on it. I think it's too full. So yeah, they can only have a certain amount of people. So if there's more cancellations somehow, then maybe I think I'm on the wait list. I talked to the ladies, so they said I'm on the
Oh,
wait list.
okay.
So New Jersey, I believe.
That I'm not going because I'll be coming home from a while.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
okay.
I mean,
That's
I'd love
fine.
to go just because it's a different group and a new, different group of fans and different geography. So if there's a way and the door opens, I'll go. If not, then I'll catch you ever at the next one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know it was the West Palm Beach. Was that your first event for Romadrama, right?
It was, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you feel about it? I mean, like I want to know a little bit about your experience before we close off because I know you had a lot of fun. It was
Mhm.
it was amazing. It was very
Yeah, it
intimate,
was yeah, it was
personal.
very yeah, intimate.
Yeah.
It was small. It was smaller and intimate. It was a very it's almost like being at a summer camp, you know.
Yeah.
It had a cool vibe like that. It felt like I was going to camp and just seeing a bunch of people that I hadn't seen in a long time. And I'd never been to that area of Florida, so that was fantastic too. So
Oh,
yeah,
that was nice.
I would definitely do one of those again. I got to bring my wife. That was fantastic because she doesn't always get to come. And even though I don't see her during the day, it's still nice to have her there, and I get to see her in the evenings. And she's friends with so many of these other actors and actresses as well. So there's a fun community there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was my first event too because I heard about the Nashville. I was like, okay, I'm gonna start saving because there's no way I'm gonna make that money in 2 weeks for Nashville. So I saved up, and it was just a really amazing experience meeting all of these people and meeting all of my
Yeah.
friends who I met in Facebook fan pages or Instagram, and we're like coming with
Mhm.
like the summer camp or high school reunion. Oh my God, here, hi, 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 hi. But it was really nice. It was really good experience.
Yeah.
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 All right, Jesse, I just wanted to say thank you for coming on here today and carving some time out. And I want to say good luck with your future project in the future and hope to see you on TV sometime soon.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time as well. Just hanging out. And thank you to I can't see her name on here, but your interpreter again. Uh
Ashley.
Ashley. Yeah, thank you, Ashley. And yeah, it was good hanging out with you all.
Yeah. Have a great day and enjoy the Memorial Weekend, Jesse.
Thank you. Yeah, my kids are waiting. We're gonna hit the river right now.
Okay, so I'm probably go out the door, play outside for a few hours, maybe
Excellent.
fun then.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Have a good day. Bye, Jesse.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.